Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, all these billionaires are saying there's a big problem with this wealth gap between the rich and the poor, and I want to break this down for you, so let's jump right into this. Welcome back, passive income investors alike. Today, I want to talk about this because it came up in my email. I'm on a bunch of forums, stocks to trade. There's just so many forums. I love reading them. And I was reading one recently that talked about the big wealth gap that's coming, and I'm sure you've heard of it as well, which is a guaranteed minimum income, which is essentially everybody gets paid just because. Switzerland talked about it because they can actually afford to do it, obviously. Most countries actually can't afford to do that, but they figure with the amount of money they're wasting on the welfare system and a lot of other things, they said, you know what, if we just gave everybody a little bit of money every month, it might help them out. And it's a lot of forward-thinking information that's really hard to analyze and quantify without actually testing it out in some world fashion. And here in Canada, they've actually tried it out. They actually gave low-income housing people money just to see how it would affect their lives. People are testing this out. But the reason Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, Warren Buffett, a lot of these people talk about the big wealth gap is because you are headed in one of two directions. And I want to teach this to you today because chances are if you're watching this, you already are on the right path. And if you're not watching this, it's because you don't care and you're going to be on the wrong path, guys. Not to lead you into my content, but there's only two people I kind of know in life. The people that kind of have to hustle, they can't help but not sit still. There's very few people like this, but when you meet them, you'll recognize them right away because they're people that are constantly on edge, like they always have to be doing something. The other kind of person you're probably going to know is the person that would rather go to their job, work their 9 to 5, and come home and relax, play video games, and maybe smoke pot. There are a lot of people like this, guys. These are the kind of people that have nothing growing up, and their parents say, go to school, get a real education, take out that 6-figure loan, keep spending all of your wealth until you're almost 30, and then you won't have most of it paid off until you're in your mid-30s. It's a scary reality, guys. The other way of thinking is starting a business, solving people's problems, using your skills to advance these businesses and incomes, and then start automating your income and hiring employees and building corporations. This is for a set few amount of people. I don't even want to run a corporation. I like working for myself and I like passive income. And what you're going to end up see happening is your wealth will start exponentially going up. If you can find a way to own businesses, whether it's through stocks, making them yourself, or investing in like commercial real estate where you're renting it out, you will find if you are in this game long enough, no matter what, your direction is going to go like this. Well, Warren Buffett always says, guys, the money goes from the impatient to the patient, because if you can sit in the stock market, the longer you're in the markets for, the better off you're going to be. It's not about who's there earliest or who's there late. It doesn't matter about trading. It's who's there the longest, who's been collecting the payments the longest, who's got the most equity growth. If you own real estate, the underlying fundamentals of just owning real estate go up. If you don't rent it out, you might have more issues because you'll be paying all the bills yourself. But if you can find a way to cover the expenses, just the land it sits on will accumulate over time and go up in value. So that's where we're seeing the big divide between the have and the have-nots. If you do not have any understanding of business or building wealth, you are going to be left behind. And it is a sad reality of capitalism. You cannot avoid this reality. It's just how it works. If we do not educate people, i.e. like this YouTube channel or any other system, they're finally putting it into school though. They are putting some systems into school to teach people about taxes, running businesses. It's nice to see the government actually putting some incentives behind this to help create the knowledge, because it all comes down to the Tai Lopez of knowledge, guys. You got to have that knowledge. I like saying knowledge, because if you can figure out how to think properly when it comes to making income, it'll get a lot easier. To put this in perspective, guys, 5 years ago, I just finished paying off $20,000 in loans because I thought I needed to spend all this money to get my business up and running before I even had clients. You just presume, oh, I need to buy all this fancy equipment, I need this, I need that, because you're an idiot, and you don't realize the fundamental reality of your company is your clients and what are they hiring you for and what kind of problem are you solving. Those are the things you need to pay attention to, not necessarily the equipment. I'm filming this on my iPhone, but I feel like this information is valuable enough. The quality doesn't really degrade the information, which you can let me know by slapping a like on this video, and maybe consider commenting and let me know. Are you just starting your financial path, or are you well on your way? Do you have some wealth? I am still in this really early section of my financial wealth. I only started investing, like I said, 5 years ago, guys, and in 5 years, between equity growth and just my business's cash flowing income, I've managed to build a 6-figure portfolio literally in my 20s, which I didn't think would happen as fast as it did. And it kind of happens overnight, because when you start out, you get that first 10 grand you worked your ass off for, and you're like, damn, that took a long time, and it feels like a lot of money. And then all of a sudden you're investing it, and that 10 grand's making, 10% a year. It's bringing in almost an extra $1,000 a year, plus all the extra money you're putting toward it. And then boom, next year you have like 20,000, 25,000. Then you hit 40 and you're like, oh, this doesn't really matter. And then it doesn't matter till I hit 100. And then before you know it, holy crap, because these fundamentals compound over time, all of a sudden 6-figure bank account in 5 years. It kind of blows my mind, because when I talk about these numbers to my friends that are in this other spectrum of life, they're like, they don't even want to hear about it, because to them it's just unfathomable. They're still paying off student loans. They're still working their ass off at shitty jobs just to try and get ahead while they come home, play video games, smoke pot, guys. It's just that part of reality can crush you if you're not careful about it. And those are the kind of people that would go to Wall Street and complain to the banks that they're taking all their money and all those greedy buggers are ruining their lives, when really it's just their own knowledge that's keeping them behind. And this knowledge is readily available. It's out there, guys. So the way you're going to be able to get ahead in this world, it is going to get harder, because the divide becomes between who owns what. And if you don't own anything, you're going to have to get your ass out there. You're going to have to solve some problems, hustle up, bank those dollars, guys, and start dividing it out into different equities and assets. And that way, over time, you will become the guy that is on the other side of the fence of the raising. You're the one that's going to be like, oh, well, I'm part of the divide. You will literally become a part of the divide, and you can start with 0 today. It's more possible than you think, and I hope this video helped inspire you just a little bit. It's an interesting topic I find super fascinating. I think it is a problem, though, in and of itself, the divide, but I don't think the solution to it is just giving people the wealth. I don't think it should just be divided up. I don't like social. Go to a socialist country and tell me it worked out well, because it doesn't. Capitalism seems to be the best thing, but the unfortunate result is the have and the have-nots, and it really comes down to the knowledge that curates you over time. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Stay cool. Stay awesome. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow.